Frankie, have you ever had a macaroni and cheese and it's just boring?
We got boxes of them.
We got tons of them. We're going to look at 3 boring Deluxes today on BoxMac.
Ooh.
Now, Frankie. You and Zach selected Macs that you thought were the most boring.
The fact of the matter is, if you can see it from our unboxing episodes, a box normally contains 1 or 2 really interesting Macs.
Yes.
And then kind of some boring peripherals.
Yeah. They're padding it out. It makes a more impressive experience. It makes the box feel weighty, full of vim and vigor.
But difficult to theme content around.
Surprisingly, yes.
and I get a lot of messages online too where somebody's like, have you ever had this one? And it just looks like all the others.
Yes.
And I never tell them, don't send it.
Yeah, don't send it. And so they do send it. Right. And thus we get shows like this one.
Yeah. It might not be right of us to be pessimistic about it.
No, not at all. We've actually got 3 store brand Macs here.
But we don't want to just put store again because that will have visibility issues on YouTube.
Nobody will want to watch that show. They'll be like, oh, they already did store brand Macs.
I want to see boring Macs.
17. We've got a Giant Eagle Mac, and it does look pretty boring, doesn't it? It's got the essential blue element, which for some reason always evokes macaroni and cheese. This one I have the least hope for. It's a Value Time, and I don't know where it was sold or where it came from. Probably someone who knows more about our content than we do could go and find in the unboxing.
Ohio from
Giant Eagle. Value Time Max. You could do a show potentially Giant Eagle and Value Time. That's a
There's so much value that they save money on putting an E in the word value.
Yet they put one in the end there.
Right.
So.
Well, maybe they're to dual print an E. You always hear these urban legends about how like George Lucas changed Revenge of the Jedi to Return of the Jedi and saved $5 billion on merchandising printing.
Leet speak case on the text here.
Oh, wow.
Very lame leet speak. The kind where you can't even put the accent marks on the E's or anything.
What do you think they're going for? Instead of getting a font that would evoke children or fun, they were like, well, you know what? Just f*** around with the caps.
Maybe. Maybe they actually had planned to use that font and it was too expensive to get the licensing.
Just use a higher point of the Value Time font.
Yeah.
Which already is some flavor.
It is the same font.
I think that this decision was a 3-hour meeting. It ended in this compromise.
I love it. Look, guys, we can't afford another font licensing fee on this low-cost macaroni and cheese.
Because somebody in the room was like, we'll just go with Arial and it will be fine. One guy was like, I really think it needs to have the fun.
Yeah, where's the fun in our Value Time brand? We'll get Shirley down in art to draw up these cute little characters. You know the ones she did on the holiday cards?
And they waited a week that they couldn't afford.
Yeah.
She'd flaked out and didn't do it.
Totally.
And then somebody was like, just about with
Somebody
the caps.
filed-
Do you think that this is royalty-free illustration?
I'm sure that was done for like a commission of $8.
He's not holding a cartoon shell. That is a real photo. Somebody had the...
You're right. It might be a cell phone.
Oh yeah, so he's either snuggling with it like it's his pillow.
I think he's talking into the shell.
And there's a slight amount of attitude from the sister who says, you can't use that as a phone.
But she's still got a smile as in, aw, Timmy.
It might be a mom.
Yeah.
Or a much older sister.
And look, the art is repeated 1, 2, 3, 4 times on the box. They're getting their money's worth. Value Time.
All right, I'm done talking about that box.
Then we've got this one from Publix. It looks so classy, Frank.
Very. This is an aristocrat's mac and cheese.
Yeah.
Dinner. A great deal of white.
Yes.
This is like that porn for women.
Clean design. The design of this box really feels very 90s to me.
That's
like,
right.
oh, 2006, 2007.
Right.
Bringing us into last decade.
Yes. We're only a year away from electric cars. What's with the X versus the CS?
I really don't know the history behind it.
Of the 3, it actually looks like the best one.
So let's say you're shopping, Frankie. You don't look at the prices, because we know you don't look at the prices.
No.
Which Mac do you pick off the shelf?
So I'm in my Italian mobster costume.
Yes.
Where I have a fedora and a long trench coat. Money's really no object?
Money's no object.
Yeah, I think Publix for sure.
You'd go right to the Publix.
Yeah.
That packaging really can draw you in.
And yet, I know from my experience on the show that there's nothing that guarantees that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and one of these could be a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Do we have any examples of those? I mean, guaranteed value being the big one.
Yeah, guaranteed value is the best, even though their pasta does kind of.
That's where a store brand can really pull ahead. They just manufacture some really high flavor, low quality cheese go with a medium quality pasta, and suddenly for $1.20, $1.30,
$1.50 like that one over there.
you can pull ahead. Although you'll never, Cracker Barrel's way ahead of you.
Yeah, but Cracker Barrel, now that the promos have stopped on Cracker Barrel, price is pretty high.
Right,
$3.69 a box.
Now that they've gotten all this press from BoxMac.
Yeah, they can charge whatever they want, and people will pay it because we have that much sway.
I get messages all the time from people that say, I tried Cracker Barrel because of you. And I'm pissed that Kraft hasn't reached out to us at this point.
Let me, I turned everything up here, but it's not high enough. We're gonna have to wait for the boil, Frankie.
Man, talking about the box art would have been such a perfect thing to do while it was boiling.
You're right. It totally would have been the perfect use of our time. Well, we could do a little nutritional comparison.
Sure.
They're all not very good for you, folks.
They're all about 300 to 350 a serving.
You're right, they are. I don't think you're gonna find much information on these Macs. I don't think these Macs even rise to the level of comment.
So boring that they don't have a web presence?
Yeah.
I want to know how much money like a store brand Mac pulls in. Like obviously it's often worth it for them to produce one.
Yeah, so you go to Walmart. I go to Walmart, right?
Yep.
Walmart has a couple of house brands. They have Great Value, which we've had before. Then they have a step-down value called...
Price First?
Price First,
Yeah.
That's right. I think they have a macaroni and cheese. We've never tried it.
Oh, we have. It was the one that tasted metallic. It was very early on.
It was very early on, and it wasn't good at all, was it? This is Price First.
Oh, no. There's a weird taste there.
This is like an aftertaste. It's metally. Oh, dear. They have gallons of milk you can buy at Walmart. It's not quite ready. Don't jump the dead
Not
point.
until there's fog.
Not until the camera lenses are fully covered. At Walmart, you can buy a gallon of milk, right? And the Price First is about 30 cents cheaper than the guaranteed value, and I'm sure they come out of the same basic cow.
Right.
Why?
Marketing entirely, right?
Yeah, it is. It's the marketing cost.
This is for you, this is for you.
Yeah, they probably spend no money on marketing the Price First. Just like at Stop and Shop, you had the really guaranteed value. What do they call that brand? I don't even remember.
Guaranteed value.
Is it?
There's great value. That's
Great value
That's
is Walmart.
And guaranteed value.
Too many companies.
Stop and Shop actually does offer a guaranteed value. They guarantee me that value.
Yes, and the value is there.
The great value of a Walmart, I'm not fully sold.
Some very basic looking Elvo noodles there. Nothing surprising in the least. One might in fact say pretty boring.
Boring.
Yeah. Oh, I put too much salt.
On the topic of giant eagles. So you know the scene in Lord of the Rings, it's very sad, after they destroy the ring, spoilers.
Wow, you just totally ruined that movie for everyone.
There's destruction everywhere.
Yeah.
Frodo and Sam just narrowly escape. Gollum fell into the lava.
Yep.
They're on a rock. Frodo is elated. They start accepting their own death because they're gonna die there on that rock. Frodo says,
I'm glad to be with you, Samwise Gamgee, here at the end of all things.
I was thinking about that scene the other day, and I was like, that's a sad scene. I want to watch that. Oh, you ruined my story. It fades to black,
Yep.
which is Return of the King is famous for fading to black too many times and faking you out, making you think the movie is over.
Yes.
Which would be a very strange place to end the film.
That would be indeed.
Credits.
Like it was actually, some kind of other story entirely.
But it fades back up, and Gandalf comes in on giant eagles. Has nothing to do with mac and cheese.
All right. Comes in on this.
Now I gotta animate that. Gandalf comes with 3 eagles. Gandalf picks up Frodo, and one of the other ones picks up Sam, and the third one has nothing to do. And in the comments, multiple times they were like, that third eagle was for Gollum, wasn't it? And I was like, that's so sad. Right? Like they sent an eagle.
That is a very sad interpretation, Frankie. You're bumming us out here.
Sometimes in fan fiction, when fans have theories,
Yeah.
they're just horrible. They're theorizing in a way that a story writer never would.
Yep.
They're like, well, what if he's his father and he's actually his brother and we got a hint
Let's
of
go
that?
ahead and begin with who I personally think
I'm going to
Anakin
be
Skywalker's
referring to
father
as the
or
Star
rather
Wars
creator
off-season,
is. That being
and
the
I hope
season,
he took
I know
the way
he
he
was
bended the
conceived
Force.
out of the
The
Force.
wise Sith
and
had
he
cleverly
supposedly had
manipulated
this
the Republic.
virtual-
Star Wars is very guilty of this,
Yeah,
where the fans of Star Wars want to connect absolutely everything. But one of the things I thought of when I saw The Force Awakens, I think a lot of us thought, so when Kylo Ren was growing up, what was his relationship to Chewbacca?
Yeah.
Was Chewbacca like a gay uncle? Somebody did a comic where it's Kylo Ren like as a baby and Chewbacca babysitting, then like he gets a little older, and then by the time he's a teen, he's struggling with himself, he's struggling with the dark side. Chewbacca's trying to console him, he doesn't want to hear it, he walks away, and then it cuts to, in the comic, that moment where Chewie, in the movie after Kylo Ren kills Han Solo, spoilers,
God, you're spoiling every movie ever.
Chewie shoots him like in the gut, and then he like survives.
Yep.
In the comic, It's Chewie thinking about his history with the kid. He could have shot him in the head.
I read
and he
this.
moves it to his gut and shoots him in the gut. And I'm like, that's storytelling. Truly powerful storytelling.
You actually like made something out of a decision.
So sometimes the internet comes up with cool
Yeah.
like BoxMac.
Yeah.
Just thought we'd plug the show that you're already watching.
Yes. They don't do it so much anymore, but you used to go to old retail stores and they'd play a jingle for the store you're in. Big favorite of mine is when you go to the theaters and they used to
Thank you for coming to Lowe's. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for coming to Lowe's. Sit back and relax. Enjoy the show.
But honestly, I don't know if I care what the brand of the theater is.
No. I went to the closest one. Yes. I have like a theater TV in my basement. Every time I turn it on, I want that to play first. Theater promos ain't what they used to be. You know those in AMC now, those red dots that all interact? Like, what's that crap?
It's meant to appeal to millennials.
The whole Junt's apartment is groaning. Dun, 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 ba, bum, bum, ba, ba, ba. Don't ruin the movie.
It's supposed to be like this 4-quadrant thing where nobody will find it offensive and everyone will like it. Obviously, it's not connecting with us.
We're right outside the 4th quadrant.
Yeah, we're just over here in the super cynical jerks area.
The 5th quadrant.
5th quadrant, oh my.
It was popular for a little while to hate millennials.
Yeah.
Now it's very popular to hate hating millennials.
Oh wow.
And I'm ready to come all the way back around.
And just hate him again.
And just hate them straight up.
That was a delightfully British joke you just did. I've been watching a ton of British humor lately.
Yep.
There's this show
They can't get their hats on quite right and they dress up like women.
That's going. And I'm not even going to finish telling my British story because I got to demonstrate. Look, the Velcro is I've done so many BoxMacs that it is worn out and it doesn't even hold anymore.
You with that hat off looks a lot like Mario in Mario 64 when his hat gets blown off. It makes me feel like you're taking double damage.
I can't get it back on.
Why don't you just not wear it for the rest of the show?
Frankie, that's sacrilege.
I hear that The Simpsons was just renewed for an historic 30th season.
Frankie, I tried this year to watch a couple episodes just to see, and the most you can get out of it is a chuckle or two.
HD yellow people? Do people watch it?
Yeah, huge numbers.
We have a new friend who's a fan. Her name is Chrissy, and she is an animator on Fox's Son of Zorn.
Yeah.
And she did the poster for the Halloween episode. She also did a wonderful drawing of Us's Noodles. She says that Son of Zorn outperforms Simpsons.
That's not too surprising to
And
me.
Son of Zorn looks to me like it's a lot less expensive.
Frankie, that's the Publix right there.
This is the thinking man's mac and cheese. Highfalutin mac and cheese. Well, I wouldn't
I don't
say
think
that.
it's highfalutin, Frankie. I think it's medium or low-falutin.
Speaking of highfalutins,
Yeah.
can I tell you about something I learned about not too long ago? You know nitrous, like you take at the dentist's?
Sure.
Apparently in like old England, in old aristocratic England,
Yeah.
they used to have nitrous parties, tanks of nitrous, and just suck back on laughing gas. And that was, a way of getting wasted at a party.
I can kind of understand that.
Which actually does seem safer to me than alcohol because I think you're only high for the amount of time that you're breathing it.
Get this, Whippets. If you take a whipped cream can container and you press the nozzle on top just enough before the whipped cream comes out, some gas comes out, you snort the gas, you get high for 5 seconds.
I believe that it can destroy your brain, but I think that it actually has to be pretty high exposure to it. But I hear that those parties were broken up when like the medical community back then was like, this is actually somewhat of a precious gas. You can't just keep huffing this stuff.
These are both looking okay. They're looking kind of boring, actually. The Publix actually looks good to me.
See, why would we necessarily prefer these over Kraft? Only because we're familiar with Kraft.
Yeah.
The wooden stirrer is not ideal.
Of all the crap I buy, I refuse to buy an additional pot so we could have 4, pots that are the same size, an additional spoon.
You'd think that 60 plus episodes of making macaroni and cheese, that these mac and cheese guys would have this down by now.
Yeah. You want to start with the Publix? You're drawn to it because it looks the best by far. Nice small little elbows, nice orange color. Let's give it a try.
The small little elbows I'm appealed to. It's very good.
Yeah. A kind of strong, cheesy flavor.
I would compare this favorably to Kraft 4 cheese.
Yes.
I assume that a store brand would be cheaper than but maybe not.
The noodles are smaller than Kraft 4 cheese for sure. I got no complaints.
I think it's a great mac and cheese. I mean, I would say like an A-.
I'm getting a little bit of a kind of that sour note, but not too strong. So that was good. This is Giant Eagle. Nice looking shells with ridges.
The Smeagol.
Ooh, bland.
Well, it definitely tastes like something.
Yeah.
I've had Macs that don't taste like cheese.
It just has way less of a taste than the Publix did.
Actually, I would say that it's a little less flavorful, and then it's high sour, and not the greatest pasta in the world.
Yeah, the pasta's a little mushy, even though I watched it pretty closely. Yeah, I don't care for it.
It's not the worst I've ever had. If we now suddenly have a rating system on
After 60 episodes?
I would give it maybe a B.
Really? That high? I'm going like B minus C plus on this one.
83
We got the Value Time.
with the wonderful caps.
Yeah. It's a little bit darker than the Giant Eagle.
Looks good, a little shiny.
Oh, I like it. Oh, I like the first impression.
It's actually a lot like Giant Eagle, but less sour. And then the pasta's a little better.
Yeah, stronger cheese flavor.
I would give this like an 86.
Yeah, so you think it's only a little, I think it's a fair bit better.
It's hard for me to say B+, because B+ is a pretty good Mac.
I think the Publix, though, is definitely the best of the three.
Now it's becoming quite sour. They all have a sourness.
I think that actually comes mostly from the preservatives they put in to keep the cheese fresh. These are all in-date Macs. Sometimes they use a little more, a little less of that preservative to keep the shelf life longer. Maybe that's what we're picking up on.
I have a coworker who watches BoxMac who was fascinated by the fact that when we tried Kraft dinner, we recognized it as an old formulation from our childhoods. And he said, I would love to somehow, it's impossible, but have a side-by-side comparison of peanut butter cups I had when I was a kid and peanut butter cups I have now.
I think they have definitely changed. Either that or my sense of taste has changed because I don't like them nearly as much as I used to.
I'm sure they've reformulated to cut costs 1,000 times. Food in general has changed.
Not to belabor the point of peanut butter cups, but I definitely remember a time when they used to be much more oily. You'd peel it off that thing and there would be a lot of oil left on the wrapper.
Does the oil make it good?
I think so. It's just peanut oil coming out of the peanut butter. Overall, Frankie, I think these Macs are pretty boring.
Hey man, if it's 7 p.m., you just got home from work, you have a Publix in the cabinet, and it's mac and cheese time, I'm gonna be pretty excited.
Yeah.
Lowe's Theaters welcomes you to the exciting world of the movies. Smoking is not permitted in this auditorium. It's the law. Certificates are available at the box office. Thanks for helping us keep the theater clean. As you exit the auditorium, please deposit litter in trash receptacles in the lobby. Please be considerate and don't talk